Hi, this is Charlie. This is video number 9. In this video, I'd like to talk about exposure. Exposure is so important because when something new comes up, you see it and you really don't trust it. So you have to talk about it, feel it, look at it, use it, get familiar with it, use it more, talk about it. And the more you do, the more familiar you get, the more you trust it. Like this, for example. My entire life, I've been using this. I've felt it. I trust it. It's been in my life, my entire life. But yet, in reality, it's worthless. It's a piece of cloth, ink, and because the government says, let it be so, it's valuable, magically, it's valuable. But it's really not. And then these get invented. They're made out of gold. You put this in somebody's hand. As a person, you know that gold is valuable, but yet you get it in your hand, you've never seen it before, you're like hesitant, you're like, what is this? But yet you're kind of curious, you know, I mean, I know it's gold, but what is it? I don't have a clue. So you have to get it out there into the population to be able to get people talking about it, feeling it, using it, and they become familiar, then they start trusting it. Instead of, you know, this, you take this and you're like, oh, I love it. It's my dollar. And it's like, what is that? When it should be actually the opposite way, where you're like, wow, that's gold. I like that. I want more of that. And then let's say, what do I want that for? When I can have this. And also, this makes governments and banks powerful. They control you. This makes you powerful and wealthy because you control these guys. When you have this, governments have to go on a budget. And you know government don't want to be on a budget. And when you have this, banks have to borrow this, so they have to pay you money, because when you borrow this from the bank, don't you pay them money for interest? It's the opposite way around then. When you start using this, this no longer has its power. This has the power, and it's your power. Okay. What I want to do is I want to target the food service industry. And these are facts. 10% of all the workforce in the United States is in the food industry. There are over 15.5 million people that work in the food service industry. And it makes up 4% of the GDP, the gross domestic product. And that's a big amount. There are over 1 million restaurants in the United States. And 9 out of 10 restaurants have less than 50 employees. So if you take and use one of these as a tip, or you can put a couple Federal Reserve notes in there and stick it in there, that waitress is going to talk about it. You've used like one of these and you're going to educate probably 10 people. And to make it even more fine-tuned, most waiters and waitresses work either morning and noon, or they work the evening shift. So if you go to a restaurant in the morning, you're educating one half of the restaurant, and you go there in the evening, you're educating the other half of the restaurant. So for like very few of these, 2, 3, 4 of them, you've educated the entire restaurant. At least the front of the house. The back of the house, the front of the house is where you see the waiters and waitresses and where you eat. The back of the house is where your cooks and your salad department, your dishwashers, everybody are. These might not go back there. You'd have to be a little bit more creative and be willing to spend a few more of these to educate the back of the house, but it would still be well worth it. You could call a manager over and say, hey, I appreciate my meal. The cooks did a good job. Could you please take a couple of these and take them back to the kitchen, draw hats, put names in a hat, draw a name out, give them to them. It's just the luck of the draw. But you still would be educating the entire restaurant with maybe 4 of these. You've educated like 50 people. So get out there and use them. These are not intended for stacking. Gold is a long-term investment anyhow. You put it, you don't want to buy it, and next week I'm going to sell it again, I'm going to make money on it. That's not the way gold and silver works. It's for long-term. You buy it, and a long time from now, it averages out, and it makes money in time. So get out and get these in the tips. Get them out there. Get exposure. Please. And thank you to the people that made these, because there had to be some of these rich people up here doing this, because it cost a lot of money to make this, to manufacture this. And I thank you so much that you care enough about your country that you do this. So hit the like button and subscribe, and until the next video, thank you.